Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Sandeep Bhatt. I'm a board member of TiEcon Silicon Valley. I'm also a co-founder of DeviceThread, a smart infrastructure management platform company. I met a lot of you at this event who were here last year, and there are, of course, many who practically grown with TiE, and each one of you has given us some feedback last year and continue to give us this year. Based on that input and feedback, we put together an action-packed agenda. You saw some evidence of that this morning with Satya Nadella conversation and Thomas Warner conversation. I'm assuming you guys really found that interesting and enjoyable. There is more to come today. We have, for today particularly, I want to draw your attention to the 3 grand keynotes. The first one is about the success story of multiple unicorns based out of India and US, which I'm 100% sure that the audience here will closely relate to. The second one is about the future of AI. And the closing keynote is going to be about the future of communication in the world of AI. I strongly suggest that all of you find time to be here for that one. Now, all this content, again, will be followed by tomorrow's content as well. And then, of course, you have got the expo area over there where there are some wonderful startups showcasing their products and services. All of this would not have been possible without the collective work of TiE staff and the volunteers around here under the leadership of Anita Manwani, the president of TiE Silicon Valley. I'm sure many of you already know Anita Manwani, but those of you who do not had the pleasure of meeting her or knowing her, she's a trailblazing entrepreneur, a corporate leader, a generous contributor to the mission of TiE. She's the founder of Relentless, a lab automation software company, and has held senior leadership roles at NASA, HP, and Agilent. She's a passionate advocate of equity in education and has helped establish Ashoka University as a founding trustee. She sits on multiple boards and has been honored nationally as a technology all-star and one of Silicon Valley's top 100 women of influence. She also is an avid golfer, skier, a hiker, and above all, a community builder who brings people together just like we are here today. Please join me in welcoming Anita Manwani.
Always surprising you, Sandeep. I'm here. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, what a morning we have had. Give it a round for Satya, Naveen, and all the amazing speakers and tracks this morning. It's so good to be here and see the enthusiasm and meet everybody. But I want to come back to that one word we talked about yesterday, transformation. And little did I expect that it would get so reinforced by every keynote speaker today in every track and on the grand stage. We get so engrossed in talking about transformation with AI and so on, but there was one common theme that I saw that I want to come back to, which is cultural capital. Yesterday's grand keynote was all about building culture through media and entertainment. We heard Satya's, bullseye focus on building the right culture in the company that helps deliver. We heard the same thing from Warner. And Warner emphasized how changing culture, making things easy, actually has helped him reduce the attrition of physicians. So really, it is about culture, and transformation is very key, and transformation is not easy. When we look at TiE, it is not just engaging those 3 constituents for networking and education and bringing the investors, the entrepreneurs, and the corporate executives. But honestly, it is also increasing the diversity of TiE. And that is why I'll start first with TiE. The I in TiE stands for international. And in many ways, the E in TiE really stands for equity. But equity is earned. It is not given. And I am so pleased that ever since I started working with this team, we have progressively increased our diversity quotient. 33% of our speakers in this conference are women. So all women clap and all the men whistle. Thank you. Thank you. 33 women that start, you will meet one of those phenomenal ladies today, Vasu Jakal. Then we have May Wang, CTO from Palo Alto Networks. We've got Emily, we've got Kavita, we've got Claudia, who I just heard, senior leader at Clorox. Amazing job of unpacking for us how they are using AI in supply chains. The list goes on because I can't name 33% of more than 150 speakers that we have. So if I missed you, it's not because I don't care. I care deeply about this, and I am so glad that every track chair took this very, very seriously. So I want to kind of just talk a little bit, if we can go to the next slide, please. You might think, wow, this has been a great TiEcon. Frankly, I'm also saying wow behind, just as I look at all your faces. I walk the halls. I saw people sitting on steps and having their lunch. But for me, TiEcon is just one blip in our 83 engagements that we do. And it is each one of those 83 engagements that is super critical for us to create that bullseye focus and value for our entrepreneurs. So I'm not going to go through all the 83, but if you need funding, and I've met many of you who have said we want to access funding. Of course, we have TiE Silicon Valley Angels. The prior session was around TiE 50. But we've also had we do funding Fridays. There are for senior executives. There are corporate roundtables around, specific trending technologies, and on and on and on. Of course, none of this is possible without sponsors and friends. You got a glimpse of that on the grand stage here over the last day and a half, and you'll see more of it. So this is the strength of TiE Silicon Valley, and I would say this is the strength of every network, whether it is your small network within at your home where you meet every Sunday and talk about stuff. These are extremely crucial. So I want to now recognize the team behind me, the leadership that makes it all happen. I'm a firm believer you can't win the race and run it alone. You can certainly lead it, but you cannot win it. And the folks on the board have definitely been a big part of this winning conference. So I'll let you read the names. You saw Jagdeep in action, Krishna, Andy Sao, Anand, TiE 50, Preeta, Sandeep you've just met, and Rajat. So the three folks who helped and kind of, with some of the conference aspects are our three co-conveners, Dr. Reena Bhargav, Janaki Kautha, and Sandeep Bhatt, who's also a fellow board member. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not, don't.
Exactly.
Right? And if you're in the middle of a workday,
so thank you very much.
5-minute nap or drink a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Thank you. Exactly. Thank you very much. Following this is a unicorn panel with some amazing three folks who have, who are going to unpack what does it take to get to a unicorn status. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll hear about their journeys, their stories, but more importantly, what are the focus areas and what is the habits that you need to have in order to end up on a unicorn journey. And then we also have a session today that is on the one-person unicorn. So don't miss that. Isn't that amazing to be able to see that? And then coming back to the 33% speakers, women speakers, we have She Pitches, She Wins, which is being sponsored by Mayfield and TiE. And it's we have 20 folks, young founders who are pitching. So do show your support, but more importantly, you'll learn something amazing at the kind of ideas that they will be presenting. So with that, I would like to invite in alphabetical order, so I want to be clear, there is no favorites, they're all awesome people. Beerud Chet, co-founder and CEO of Gupshup. Chet Kapoor, Chairman and CEO of DataStax. And Vijayan, founder and CEO of Tekion. So welcome and thank you for taking the time from your busy unicorn journey. I know every day must be a busy day for you. The thing that I want to just have you unpack for us is, what was that aha moment when you got the idea and you decided to start on this journey with that idea? And I know all of you have had multiple experiences at other ventures or other companies, but and if you want to amplify anything about yourself, please do so.
Should I go first?
Please.
Well, so firstly, I've been, blessed or cursed with two very, very long journeys. I first founded Elance, which is now called Upwork, and from founding to IPO was about 20 years. And I wasn't there all that time, maybe less than half that time. And then Gupshup has been another long journey as well. And especially when it's such a long journey, it's not just a single aha moment, but a series of aha moments, because the tech landscape keeps changing and evolving, right? So in the Upwork case, it was just this, what is now obvious, but remote work in '98 was a very new idea and so on. Obviously now conventional wisdom. With Gupshup, it was the, using messaging as a way to deliver delightful digital services. And now, of course, with AI and LLMs and so on, it's just taken a whole new flavor. But there's been a series of, you have to keep evolving and you have to keep adapting and adjusting. So the pivots along the journey are equally important aha moments as well.
There were many, just to be clear. I've been lucky enough, so I'll actually go back, really back. I was born and brought up in Calcutta, but the reason I came to the States was because I read this book called The Little Kingdom that was written by a gentleman that some of you heard of. His name is Mike Moritz. He ran Sequoia. He was a Times reporter then. That's what motivated me about 600 years ago to come to the US. And I had a chance to come and work for a gentleman that defined this industry. His name was Steve Jobs. And if I look at my patterns, right, of what has worked, being part of a IPO in the web era, being part of BEA, running Apogee, and then being part of Google, and now running DataStax and making it part of IBM. There are two patterns, right? One is always wanting to change the world, and secondly, getting lucky. Right? I think that combination has always been true. And luck is not so much about waiting, but it's about taking risks. And so the aha moment for me, if I can answer that, is has always been, trying to change the world and staying ahead of what you're trying to do, and then being bold enough to actually take the risk to make it happen.
Great. We'll come back to that. Jay?
Right. My journey, again, very similar, coming from India, not with the accomplishments yet, still working on it. So I started as an entrepreneur out of college, had a first failure early. I'm glad it happened early, so I learned from it. And then I got an opportunity to work at Oracle for many years, from 1999 onwards. That's when I got kind of the seed of the idea, I should say. SaaS was just flourishing, just starting with Salesforce, Benioff starting Salesforce, then Workday coming up slowly. So I felt SaaS is going to be the future and cloud is going to be the future. And of course, there's not discussions about AI yet. And I felt someday I want to, and I felt at that time, I learned a lot at Oracle. It's a great company. I felt Oracle was too late to the game from a cloud and SaaS perspective, which was true. And then I felt that I need to, someday I'm going to start really the next gen SaaS company. So fast forward, I got this opportunity to work at that time a small company called as Tesla and work for Elon directly. Learned so much. Built had the opportunity to build most of Tesla's platform from ground up. So that gave me a very good view, and it jumped out very clearly from my personal experiences, buying cars with the family, as well as then having an opportunity to see how we can change the automotive experience, what a consumer goes through. Of course, Elon was super focused on the product and also delivery, but I was able to help the entire, build the platform to deliver the customer journey. That gave me a view into traditional automotive industry. So the thought process for me at that time was, if Tesla was a fraction of the automotive industry at that time, this was 2012, I felt 99% of the automotive industry runs on extremely fragmented automotive software ecosystem between the OEMs, the dealers, and lenders, and all kinds of, I would say, fragmentation, which you could see visibly when you buy a car. You know, when you buy through OEM website or through dealer experience is so disconnected. Same thing for after sales. So if you try to get a car serviced, it's always a hit or miss. Depends on if you know someone, yeah, you can get it done well. So I felt, why can't we deliver that as a SaaS platform to the entire automotive industry? So that's how Tekion was formed, and started building this retail cloud, enterprise cloud, and partner cloud, all bringing the entire automotive retail ecosystem together. So we've been in this great journey since 2016, incredibly exciting. We've reasonably good size. I feel we are still early, so we are a $4 billion company, but I feel we have so much more opportunity. We are like infancy of our growth.
You're a small company, a $4 billion company. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So, you know,
think big.
Since you started the topic of Elon, I know that we're not going to unpack that very much today. But Chet, I want to turn over to you because Steve Jobs, you know, grew up here, and you had the good fortune to work with him. Share with us something that you learned that, you know, really has stayed with you.
So I should start by saying I was the person that got coffee for the person that made coffee at Next. And so Next had tremendously talented people. There were two things that I'll just make this comment. For those of us that have kids, you learn that 80% of their personality is formed in the first 4 years of their lives. And the rest of their lives, they're undoing those 80%. But I think the same thing happens in our professional lives. And the fact that I came out of college and I was working for Next changed my career completely. The two things I learned, one was do not compromise on people. Right? You have to find a way to hang out with the best people possible. And it's not a cliche, but you have to continuously assess them. Right? You have to like, what has been delivered recently, right? You know, you need people who are hungry all the time. It's not like how tenured you are and what you did yesterday. And so Steve, that's the one thing he did really well. The second thing was, you know, he did this tremendous job of inspiring people to deliver more than they ever thought they could themselves. Right, that was the most, that was like, you thought you could run a 7-minute mile, and somehow he got you to believe that you can run a 4.5-minute mile. And he did that consistently. So I still inspire to do that with the people I work with.
Thank you, thanks for sharing that. Beerud, anyone come to mind that has inspired you in your journey? You worked at Elance with some amazing leaders from the Valley.
Yeah, I mean, I think at Elance, John Doerr was on our board and invested, and then he brought in Coach Campbell,
Yes.
who's the $1 trillion coach, they call him, and so on. And just lots and lots of lessons, right, from that. Certainly, think big, right? Even Vinod Khosla was sort of involved a little bit with our business and so on. And his point was, even when you're starting out, think of, there's a big difference between a $0 million company and a $0 billion company, because they're both zeros, but the trajectory that you're going to be on as you're aiming for a big one is very different, right? Coach Campbell would often just talk about just people and conflicts and dealing with them. I think inspiring the right way, getting the team, the culture right, even when you're really small, but you set the foundation for something that'll survive. And it's actually a lot harder to maintain culture as the org gets larger and bigger. So I think a lot of really meaningful lessons. And I think usually early stage entrepreneurs, you tend not to think about it because you know everybody and you're directly driving everything. But the moment you get past, I guess, 50 or so people, I mean, you can't know everyone, you can't engage with them every day. So, the habits, just like personal habits, right? The professional habits you set, which your values and so on, you need to get them right early so that they persist as the organization grows, right? So some of these just foundational elements that stand you in good stead were the early lessons here.
So what were some of those habits? What are the 2 habits that you follow?
I think, so some of these, of course, but the one I would point out is just, building resiliency both as a person and as an organization, because any company that has had long journeys, it's a roller coaster. There'll be ups and downs, and you can't get too euphoric or too depressed. You kind of have to be even-keeled. So one, just as a leader personally, you have to sort of set that tone for the rest of the organization, and especially when it's a little easier when things are going well, but when they're not, I've had to do like pivots and near-death experiences, and then carrying the team along with you, being transparent, being authentic, saying, look, we thought this would work, it didn't, we need to change, and here's why, right? And I think it's hard, but just if you can lead, with authenticity and the team comes along, it actually is more resilient and can do amazing things that come out of it. And at a personal level, just being even-keeled, balanced, maybe even just work out or meditate or whatever it works to just build that stamina for the long term, because I think there's enormous stress, right? Because it's not just you're taking the responsibility for hundreds of people onto yourself. So I think just being able to deal with all of it, I guess, is important. Yeah.
So you brought up near-death experiences. I want to ask each one of you, give us one near-death, because there were many near-death experiences, probably. Yeah. And so talk about one near-death experience, and how did you navigate that?
Yeah. For us, I talked about the cloud platform. So we have automotive retail cloud, enterprise cloud, partner cloud. Retail cloud, while it could sound simple, it's not just selling the car the way we were trying to solve it, or we solved it, is building the entire stack. So what that means for retail cloud is, it's like an ERP. I worked for Oracle, built ERPs. It is extremely complex. Of course, Elon made me do some crazy things, which I appreciate now, because we built the ERP for Tesla, homegrown ERP. And he wanted me and my team to do it in 3 months. So I had that experience, so we had to build. So what the bigger problem with the startup is, of course, time and money is very much related. You could run out of time and run out of money very quickly, right? So this is a ERP undertaking, so we had to build so many things. If we'll give a simple example, there is a retail experience for customers to buy car, but we also have to build vehicle inventory, parts inventory, warehousing, accounting, service, the whole thing. But the main thing was, the bigger issue was, how do you build the entire accounting stack? General ledger, AP, AR. There is a reason why companies like Oracle and SAP have been around for 40, 50 years. Once they go in, they go in. It's changing, it's very difficult, right? And then there's one other cloud company on the accounting that came up, which was NetSuite, and Oracle gobbled it again, right? So it's a very tough spot. So we had to, our options were like you build or you partner with someone, and buying is not an option. We ourselves didn't have money. We were in a Series B, right around Series B. And then we had a very clear path. We build it and then sell it, because customers, it's not complete without that. You have to sell it. And then our board members advised, Jay, this could go wrong completely, because accounting is something, it takes years to get it perfect, because it's money, you deal with money, even something could go wrong. Why don't you try and partner with someone? So we went on this analysis of, can we partner with SAP? No, they're too big. That's why SAP actually, at some point, as what we know is they tried to go into this space and didn't work out. So they kind of pulled out, so it didn't work out for them. Microsoft too big. Same thing for NetSuite. And then we worked with another small accounting company called Xero, you probably may know. We said like, okay, this looks like a new cloud company, and I even met with one of their board members and asked like, can you guys help, and we can open the door for you for a completely new industry. But right now, their product was only for a small business, so we had to expand it to a little bit towards an enterprise. And the board member said very clearly, unfortunately, Jay, we are already advising the CEO and the management team to not to deviate at all. Small business is good enough, big opportunity, don't invest, don't burn money, let's focus on this. So at least he was very clear, it was good to me. So for us, I finally had to make that decision. It's kind of a do or die. We go build it, and our timing was very short. We had to build the entire accounting stack in 3 months. Maybe we'll get a little bit of extension with the customers, because we already signed up a customer. We had literally $1 billion contract on the other side. So if we prove 3 pilots, we have $1 billion contract. So the nice thing is there was a pot of gold on the other side. So there was a good way to motivate the team and drive towards it. Fortunately, we made it. That was a very tough, unnerving moment for us, because a lot of things went wrong. We fixed it and all of those. So we are here, luckily. So we came out of it well.
It was a near death, but a pot of gold at the end.
Other side, yes.
Heaven at the end.
Yeah.
Sheth?
I've had money, and I won't go into the details of the near-death experience. I'll tell you how I recovered. The one that I will mention is I had a chance at Apogee to raise money between Bear Stearns failing and Lehman Brothers failing. That was a very interesting thing to go through. There are 3 things that actually helped me a lot. One is constantly asking myself if I believe. And you have to, this is not bullshit talk to yourself. This is getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock and saying, I believe, right? And that's one. The second thing is, I think you should communicate with people around you that you're going through it. This is none of this, I'm sitting on top of a freaking hill and I have to you got to be transparent and communicate that you're actually going through a tough time and they're there with you. And the third one will surprise almost everybody in the audience, is just relax and smile. You'll get through it, right? And you don't know that when you're going through it because it kind of sucks. Almost every near-death experience I've come out with, and I've had many, is I have come out stronger as a leader, stronger as a person, and the company I'm leading has come out far stronger than I ever thought they would.
Thank you. Beerud?
Yeah, no, I mean, totally agree with that, right? I think we've had, products that we built, we couldn't monetize and had to pivot away, so we moved from a consumer business to an enterprise business, for example, or similar funding experience in 2008 crisis and so on, right? And sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart, right? Because if it happens, it's great. And so there's been numerous instances, but the way to deal with it exactly is just being open, being transparent, carrying people along, getting them to buy in, to contribute. The one thing that's, again, surprised me is asking for help from the team itself, and people step up. and different people react in different ways, but there are the leaders that step up saying, okay, we're willing to hunker down, we're willing to skip payroll or, skip a bonus, but we want to help the company and so on. And the end result of it is the camaraderie, the resiliency that's built up, then you can sort of walk through walls and do kind of amazing things. So yeah, I think inevitably in these long journeys, you'll have these kind of instances. And many entrepreneurs they think short term and they think it's always up and to the right, but the untold stories of these sort of near-death experiences, are what take you through. And most history is written with hindsight, right? But I think these are the challenging parts. Yeah.
So we've talked about the culture of capital and building that in many ways. All three of you have talked about this, but there's so much conversation around AI. Let's imagine it's 2030, and the three of you, I hope, are sitting with my successor. And what would you be saying? What is the future of AI? Has it come true or not? Take it away. Take it whichever way you want.
Go ahead, Bud.
Yeah. I would say, as we all know by now, it is real. The only thing I would say widespread I could compare is the internet itself, right? It's the .com. The way I'll say something, it's like, of course, incredibly disruptive, innovative. What would surprise me is if everything doesn't turn into an AI, solution for day-to-day life. It will change the space in which. I'm sure you know these, right? So the pace is significant. Evolution of AI is going to be significant. The way I break it down in my industry, I do this for my team and for my customer, is the way I think about AI, and we should all think about it, is, unknown is what scares people, gets us anxious. Yes, it should, with the social media, what's going on, and founders like me, of course, my team comes to me like, oh, that's happening, we need to do this. So the way I think about AI is, think about whenever, I don't know when people started learning math. Start, educating people on AI like how you did math. Multiplication, division, algebra, just keep different levels, but you need to know basic math in every school, something like that. If we incorporate in easy way from early days to understanding, and for us, based on which level you are, you could rank yourself what level of math you want to learn. Something like that, learning AI will make life easy rather than, getting anxious and continuing to have that as an unknown. So that's my view. Everything is going to be AI. Being part of it is learning so that you don't get anxious. And then you decide, you choose, I want to be a PhD, or for me, high school math is good enough.
Great. Chet, what is the prize?
I can, this can take an hour. No, so
Please don't take an hour.
This is, I'll be short. If it was 2 years from now, I would say the change has not been as big as I would like it to be. If it's 5 years from now, I'll say the change has been faster than I thought it would be. So that's how I would bookend it. 50% of code committed by developers at DataStax is going to be AI generated in less than 3 months. In 5 years, autonomous coding is going to be alive and kicking. Enterprises will not modernize their apps. They will be rewritten by AI, right? And I believe the way we interact with technology will completely change. I think I can see it now. It's almost like I want to touch everything. Like with the iPhone, everything changed in how I interact with it. And I think that's going to happen. I think pointing and clicking will go away, voice will come in. And so I am, there'll be a lot of automation, there'll be a lot of disruption, but having done this for 600 years, I think I've never been so excited.
So that was less than an hour. Beerud, because you're a good friend, 3 words.
Okay. Well, 3 words. So one is conversational interfaces, right? Instead of sort of desktop, web, and app. It's
that was a commercial for you.
Exactly. I mean, and that's kind of what we do as well, so that's our thing. Maybe the only other couple of words is, I think the cost of entrepreneurship decreases dramatically, just like cloud reduced the cost of ops and so on. I think now all our operating assumptions, the number of people you need, the kind of things, the shape of the org and so on will all be AI driven. So I think that creates many more entrepreneurial opportunities for all of us. Yeah. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Yeah.
Thank you. We're running out of time, so I want to thank all three of you. I know you had busy schedules. What I got from this was team, resilience, commitment, and timing and luck. So wish you all the best.
Thank you.
May you get more glorious in your
Thank you.
careers.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's just get a picture.
Picture. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, of course.
Thanks.
Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you.